Okay, so we're going to start with the eye first. I'm going to start with the dark sepia, and I'm just going to outline the outer part of the eye, so that the lighter area he's got around the eyeball, I'm going to leave a space for that, and just gently go around with the dark sepia all around the eye. So I'm using quite soft pressure. We also want to make sure we get the right shape eye as well. Even with the line art underneath, we still want to make sure that it looks good. Okay, I'm then going to use, actually I'm going to stick with the dark sepia, and I'm just going to outline the eyeball. I'm not going to put loads of pressure, loads of detail in this, because it's a very small eye, so in this case less is more. Okay, so I'm just going to keep checking my reference photo, make sure I've got the right shape. It's got a bit of a, so it comes down and around at the bottom here. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. We're going to put the pupil in now, I think would be a good idea. So I'm going to go straight in with the black. We're just going to put that literally in. Just like that. So we're keeping it really simple at the moment. We don't need to get complicated. And now I'm going to get the van-dyck-brown in the Polychromes, and I'm going to completely cover that all up. I'm going over the pupil as well. I'm not going to worry about the catchlight at the moment, because I can take that out once I'm happy with the eye. Okay, so that's got a good even cover. And then we're going to do the outside of the eye again. So I've gone with the light beige in the Pablo. And I'm just going to use this to fill this gap in here. And it comes out a bit more down the bottom here in the corner. Give that a bit of a brush down. I've got a bit of pencil dust. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the dark sepia now, and I'm just going to add a bit more depth to the eye over the van-dyck-brown in places. Especially down the bottom here, it's a bit darker. I'm wondering if a bit of burnt sienna might be good in there as well, just to give it a bit more of a colour. To say, we don't want to add too much detail. Let's give it a go. So I've got the burnt sienna here. I just want to put a bit more something else up the top here. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the black, do this pupil just to give it a bit more a bit darker. And the van-dyck-brown again, just to go over. I think that would pretty much do for that. Doesn't need much else. So let's get this catch light in. So I'm going to get the mono rubber. Okay, so I've got the mono rubber here. I think mine's reasonably clean. Let's just give it a bit of a rub on the clean bit of paper. And literally all we're going to do is decide where we're going to put our catch light, and just take the pencil out. And I think that's all it needs, is that. And then we could go in with a white. I've got my Pablo here. I would actually recommend a white Pablo for this. And just gently put a bit more white in, and I think that'll be absolutely fine. So I think we can pretty much say that the eye is now complete. So I'm going to work around the eye now. I've got the light phthalo green, and we're just going to pretty much cover this whole area in this green. We're going to make sure that we go the direction of the feathers, and they're very short as well, so we're going to replicate that with the pencil strokes. So just going back and forth with the pencil. Again, I'm not putting a huge amount of pressure on, it's not needed. Okay, and I'll bring it down here under his cheek area. We've got a bit of dark bit here, but we'll put that in after. So I'm just, as I say, I'm just going to cover it all over with the phthalo green here. Just cover down here as well, actually, a little bit more. Okay, right, so I'm now going to go with the light green. This is quite a nice bright green, so in the areas that are quite a bright limey kind of green, I'm going to use this one. So we're just building up the layers at the moment, getting some colour down. And the other good thing with drafting film is if you're not quite happy with the colour or whatever you've put down, it's so easy to take out again with the rubber. It's very forgiving film, so that's always good. I'm just going to brush that down a bit more. Coming down here. Just make sure I've got enough up the top here as well. So it always takes a little while to get into a drawing when you've just started one. I think I've just been working on cans and velvet paper actually, so I'm back on drafting film today. So yeah, it's when using different surfaces it takes a little while to get back into it. Okay. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to work on this area first before I concentrate on any more detail here, just so I get a bit more dark in before I start messing around with the lighter areas. So I'm going to go with the Delft blue, and I'm going to bring that all down here. It's a nice purpley blue, so I'm going to use this as a base colour. It's quite sharp. I'd rather it not to be quite as sharp, but I'm using light pressure. As you can see, when you're covering a bigger area, you don't really want your pencils to be too sharp when using drafting film. You know, when you're blocking in colour like we are now, it is easier if you've not got such a sharp pencil. As I say, I'm using quite light pressure, so I'll put up with it. Just move my kitchen paper across. Okay, because at the top here it's really quite dark as well, so I thought it'd be good to just get some darker areas in first, and then we can concentrate on the brighter areas, because it's quite bright around here. Oh, it's got some lovely colours. I do like drawing these ducks, Mallard ducks. I think I've done quite a few actually. I don't think I've done one on drafting film. So yeah, you can see here when your pencil's quite sharp, you know, you get lines. I'm trying to get an even coverage. But it's actually, I'm keeping it on the same point, so it's actually getting a lot easier to use now. So coming down the back of the neck here, obviously the feathers are coming down, and they're just coming off the back of the neck there. I don't want a straight line, so I'm just flicking the pencil off. Okay, so I'm just trying to get the right angle. So we've got a bit more green around the back here, so I'm not going to take this right up. I'm just going to leave a bit at the back here. And then it comes down. I'm getting in a funny position here because obviously I'm left-handed, so if you're right-handed you might find this a bit easier. Okay, so this is very dark down here, but I'm just going to take it down anyway. Won't do any harm. We've got that light a bit at the bottom. And I'm just going to go over it a little bit more just to make it a bit softer. If you haven't got a sharp pencil, then probably not necessary. Okay, so I'm just going to put a bit round here as well, just so it's not a line. We don't want any straight lines. Okay, and I will take this up to the top as well, I think, while I got it. Just move my reference photo. Okay. I'll just get the correct shape here, so it just comes over here a little bit more. That's it. Got a nice soft spot on my pencil now, so that's making it a lot easier. So we don't want to bring it much further down now. I think that's it for that colour. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back to the phthalo green, the light phthalo green, and I'm just going to fill in a bit more here because it's all sort of mingling into each other. That's why I'm sort of going back and forth between the colours at the moment. Okay, and then obviously we've got the odd ones up the top of the head. We can put in the finer details in at the end. We can take out the mono rubber and then put some extra feather details in. but we'll worry about that at the end. Put a bit over here as well. Okay, right, let's go back to this area again now. I don't know, what colour did I decide on? The Prussian blue, which is what I'm going to use next to go over the delft blue. So let's just do what we did before. So we're just building up these layers. So again, it's light pressure, and this is just about the right point that I need. So it's not blunt, but it's not sharp. It's just the perfect tip that I need. I'm coming down here. And I'm not worrying about it going over to the green because it'll all add. Okay, I know what I did forget. I'm just going to go back to the light phthalo green, and I'm just going to add in these green areas here just before we go any further. Okay. Alright, let's go back to the Prussian blue. It's quite dark under here, so we're going to have to darken that up a lot more. I'm actually taking this over the green at the back here. Okay, and let's come up to the top here. So I'm just going back and forth as well, just to get an even cover. it starts coming this direction. Okay, now I'm going to do this area here down the middle as well with this Prussian blue. So I'm still not worrying about any particular detail at the moment. I'm still just putting colour down. Let's just do the outline of his beak at the top here, so we don't go over. And bring that down here as well. Okay. And then we've got quite a few bits of shiny bits going up the top on this bit here as well, which we'll add later. Okay, and then across this little bit here. And we can take that up to the eye as well, just making sure we're not going over the lighter part of his eye there. I want to keep that clean. Okay, so I'm just going over in places just to make sure it's all nice and smooth. Then I'm going to bring it over the green here in places as well. And I'm also doing quite short pencil strokes as well, just to replicate the you know, the size of the I don't know if you would call this the feathers up the top here or not really, but if I was to do long lines like this, it just wouldn't look realistic. Just a bit up here. So it's quite smooth up the top here, so I'm just going to put that, I'm just going to make it sort of like a smooth line here, not a sharp line, just back and forth with the pencil. And do the same up the top here as well. And then as it comes down the back of his neck, you can taper the pencil off with the flicks. I can always use the mono rubber to tidy it up if I need to. let's just give that a little brush, keep it clean. While I've got this Prussian blue, I think that's how you say it, Prussian blue, I'm just going to do a bit more down here. I'm just coming over the green. Not completely, just in places there. And then let's do a bit more in this big area of the green, just so it's all sort of going into each other and there's no blockiness. Right, so we've got some detail going on down the bottom here. So again, I'm still not really worrying about details at the moment, I'm just getting these colours in. I think this Prussian blue is going quite nice over the, I think it was the phthalo green, wasn't it, we used underneath. So I think they work quite well together. I'm going to take this actually around the bottom of the eye. Obviously we need to make this a lot darker still, but I don't think it'll hurt to just take it around the bottom there. Okay, let's just put a bit here and there in this area. So this is where you don't have to copy the photo, you know, exactly. This is where you can start to get a bit more adventurous and putting your take on it. I never follow the photo exactly. I think it takes the joy out of it if you get bogged down with all those extra details. I mean, you want it to look like the photo, of course, but you know, you don't want to give yourself a headache trying to get every single feather in. And you want to make it your art, you want to make it yours. So yeah, I never follow the photo exactly. Okay, I think that'll be okay for that colour. Let's just put a bit more here actually, just so it all flows together nicely. Okay, so I think before I make this any darker, I'm going to start concentrating on this part, because that's the main part of the face, I think. So I decided on going with the yellow lemon, just to give it a bit more of a kick, or a bit more brighter green. Because it is quite a bright green on here, so we want to get that in. And coming down here a bit. I don't want to take it all over. I'll just put it in places. Okay, let's just give that a brush, keep it clean. Okay, so let's go back to the light phthalo green. Just checking that is the light phthalo green, and I'm just going to go over where I have done with already with this pencil, just making it a bit darker now. I'm not worrying if I'm going over the blue either. I'm just putting a bit more pressure on, not a lot, but just to get a bit more colour in. Put a bit more of that down here. Okay, and then let's put some up here as well, and then I think we'll start darkening the blue areas up. That's where we can start getting the depth and putting more details where needed. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with the dark sepia next. I don't want to go straight in with the black because it's not all black. So yeah, I've got the dark sepia here, and I'm just going to start darkening up areas that need it. And as I say, I'll use the black as well. I'm going to use the dark sepia to go into the green a little bit as well in places. We could even use, I'm always thinking ahead, so I was just thinking with the highlights up the top of the head, maybe the slice tool may come in handy, and we could give it a go. I mean, you could use the mono rubber as well if you haven't got a slice tool. You know, don't worry if you haven't got one. So I'm just going back and forth just to get the colour in, especially at the top here because it really is dark. And I'm letting it go over the edge here as well. I'm just doing a bit of detail in the green as well, the dark blue, sepia, indigo even. Give that a little brush. I'm quite happy with the colour choices anyway. So far so good. So I am going over the same area a few times just so I can get the you know, the colour in. As I say, it's quite dark at the top here. Let's just go around the eye actually before I don't want the pencil to get much blunter because I'm doing quite a detailed area here. So I'm going to do it now. Okay, and then up the top of his eye here, I think it's a bit too thick, so I'm just gonna narrow it down a bit up the top here. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the top of the head here. So just back and forth with the pencil. Now you might get a bit of shine on the video, on the image here, but that's just because the lights are on this film. You know, just for the purpose of the video, there's a lot of light shining on this picture, so it might look a bit scratchy in areas, but it's literally just because the light's on it. That's just one thing you get with film, but in normal daylight that doesn't happen. It's literally just because of the lighting at the moment, but it's nothing to worry about. Let's do a bit more here actually. Give that another brush. I'm getting a bit of pencil dust now. Okay, just continuing down here. I will need to sharpen this at some point. So I should go around here when I tidy it up, but not until I've done the bigger areas that I'm doing at the moment. Okay, so let's do a bit more over the green here. Okay, I think I'm going to sharpen this dark sepia now. What I might do actually, I've got one of these emery boards. I think they came with some blender pencils I got ages ago, and they're quite good just to sharpen up your pencil a little. It's not always good to keep sharpening them because obviously then they, you know, they go down a lot quicker, but if you can get away with just using that little emery board or something just to sharpen them up, because obviously you don't want your pencils to go too quick because they're not cheap, are they? So yeah, so I've just sharpened up one side. I mean, by all means, if you prefer to sharpen it properly, then obviously do so, but I don't want to waste these lovely pencils. Okay, let's put a bit over here. So we've got some like little lines up here of darker colour. As I say, I'm not copying the photo exactly. That's not what I do. Oh. I don't want to cover it all so that all the green is hidden, but it needs darkening up over here. Okay, let's put a bit on here. So now I'm getting in some more I'm getting in some details and you know, trying to make it look realistic and natural looking. I don't want any lines or blockiness. Okay, let's do a bit on here now. We've got like little shapes going on here in the green area. So I'm still using the dark indigo. I'm using quite light pressure as well. I'm not pushing down or anything. Okay, and I think we'll move over to the black now. Tidy this up a little bit around the back of the neck. Okay, right, let's go with the black now. Can use any black really. I prefer the Polychromes black. And let's start darkening up the areas that need to be. Let's come down this side here. So my black's quite sharp, which is quite handy, and it doesn't really matter if you're doing the last layer, you've got a few layers down, it's not so bad if your pencil's a bit sharper. So I am going back and forth now just to get the colour in. The other good thing with drafting film actually, if you're using the matte both sides, like I am actually this time, you can work on the back, you know, to darken it up if you want to. I don't really do that a lot. I don't feel that it's necessary. But if you really want to darken up an area, you have got the option to turn the sheet over and work on the other side. So you know, that's a good tool to have if you need it. I think that's quite good actually if you've got dark eyes. You can go on the reverse side and just darken it up. I don't think that's necessary with this one because they're more brown than dark black. Let's just go around the shape of the eye actually. I might put a little bit of brown around the lighter part of his eye, just to give it a bit more depth there. We'll do that at the end. Okay, let's bring that around the outside of the eye, the head, sorry. I'm not too worried if I go over the edge either, because as I say, I've got the mono rubber that I can use to clean it up if I need to. Let's come down here now. Right, so we've got almost this dark line here. I'll just get that in. It's quite dark underneath here. Okay, so this is the start of the cheek or the face here, so I don't want to take the black right up. This is where we need to concentrate as to where we actually need it to be dark. I'm lifting the pressure off my pencil a bit now, so I'm literally just, this little green area here at the bottom, I'm just literally going over with the black, not too, you know, light pressure, just so I'm darkening it but not putting a complete block of black in. So back here we are dark again, so you can adjust the pressure on your pencil as well to get different shades of the colour that you're using, and then I'll do the same here. So I'm literally just sort of touching the paper just so you can still see the blue underneath. So I'm sort of like integrating the colour. And then, as I say, down the bottom here it's extra dark, so that's where you put more pressure on. Okay, so it's pretty dark all the way around his head, so let's get that in now. So I'm using a bit more pressure than I would be normally now. As I say, I'm wanting to put more darker in now, so I'm just putting a little bit more pressure on. And I'm just making sure I haven't got a sharp line around here, so I'm letting the pencil taper off just so it's not a straight line. I'm just going back and forth with the pencil. Okay, and let's come up here. Get the shape of the head in there as well. Okay, let's bring that over here a bit more. So now we've got a few layers down. As I say, with the light on the film, you may see, you know, like scratchy marks on the film, but in real life you can't see it. It's literally because the light's on the film. It's just one of those things with film. give that a bit of a brush. So yeah, it's coming along nicely now. Alright, so we need to come over here a bit more with the black. I'm just going to make some little shapes up the top here, just to represent the lines that we've got up the top here. And we don't want to lose all this green, just want to put the black over it lightly. Okay, I'm going to put a bit more black down the bottom here. I don't think I've come over quite enough. Let's put a bit more in. And then a bit down here as well. I've not come up quite far enough. That's better. Okay, we've got some darker areas here on the cheek. Let's put them in. So I've still got the black. Just darken it here, and I think I might move over to a darker grey. Just finish up with the black. Okay, so I've got the cold grey 6 here. I'm going to do a bit more work in this lighter area. So I've got this darker bit here. I'm going to get in. I might need the black, I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. So we have got a lighter bit here, but I don't think I'm going to worry about that bit too much. we'll see how it looks at the end, but I think I'm quite okay with what I've got. I'm not using a lot of pressure, I'm just darkening this area up in places. Let's do a bit down the bottom here. Put that down here as well in this bit. A bit up the top here, so I'm just tidying it up. I'm going to get some highlights in. Okay, so before I go any further, I just want to put a bit more detail around the eye. I've got the cocoa here and the Pablo, a rather short one, but it will do the trick. So I'm just going to put a bit of the cocoa in places. Okay, I'm going to get the black. I'm just going to darken the pupil up and then just a bit more black down the bottom of the eyeball here. Okay, before I do anything else, I've just got the mono rubber. I'm just going to clean up around the top here in places, just to clean it up there. Okay, and then I want to go back to the lemon, the yellow lemon. Just add a bit more zing here. I might actually introduce just one more colour, a deeper green. I've got the spruce green here in the Pablo, just to add a bit more depth in places over the green areas. Just here and there. I think with the head, we're pretty much there. I'm just going to add the highlights in places, but I think for the colour part, we're pretty much there. Okay,